Dude, Garam is just getting it right now. Anyway, hey everyone, Anthon-patapon here, and what the heck? This is Anthon-patapon, and we are playing with some more Jet Set Radioooooo Future for the original Xbox. Alright, so we are now heading into the, what is it? I just can't believe I forgot about it. Hikage Street with Garam. And now we are going to head into, let's see, what music are we going to be playing for this boy? Let Mom Sleep? Nah. It's either Let Mom Sleep or there was some. Oh, humming the bass line. That works. Let's do it. Hit it. This was remixed by Anthon himself, as well as Rocket On. Yo, that's actually godlike. Alright, so we will come back to Tokyo Underground Sewage Facility and the bottom point of the sewage facility later. But I do want to take care of Hikage Street first. Okay, so we gotta take care of the left, right, and then the one at the very top. Where are we spawned at?
3, 2, 1,
this lady though? And of course they put me to a point where I have like next to no graffiti to actually spray the stuff. But yeah, this is actually like I knew it was said DS remix, but I did not think it was actually Anthon. And the dude makes some really godlike music. I always talk about him in like the first earlier parts. He was even the guy who made some of the best, if I should say, music tracks for freaking Jet Set Radioooooo. And the fact that he actually had part of this track in this game. Really? Like I'm actually in shock at this. Alright, so let's back up a little bit. Alright. You gotta go this way because there's some graffiti over here. There used to be always like 10 graffiti when you play this level casually, but like I guess now they decided to change it to they decided to change it to 5, which sucks. And it sucks even more that there's next to no graffiti in these areas anyway. Oh, I screwed that up. But yeah, just listen to this. Anyway, listen to how I'm in the bass line anyway, because like this is actually pretty cool. Oh, it's just so godlike. If I knew he had part of this earlier, I can tell you right now that this music would be instantly like in my engraved in my head or something like that. Figuratively speaking, of course. I can't imagine anyone having this stuff literally engraved on their heads. Alright, that was an extremely weird I almost said angle I had to work with. Okay, it was worth an attempt, but I can't keep doing that because I'll be wasting time. Like, that's the thing you should know about me whenever I'm playing a game like this where there's like a lot of grinding involved, is that I always try to find like the best ways of getting around it with shortcuts. After all, where's the fun in just taking the road, taking just the destined path if you can't make a little bit of an adjustment towards it, you know? Especially if it's not like life risking or anything anyway. See now, if this was like a mode where you can only take like one hit or whatever, ooh, there's a lot of graffiti. Where it's like you can only take one hit or one splat of a fall before you actually die, then there'd be something to worry about. But even then, it's not like it's that far fall because remember, this game is lenient on its at its falling, and I might have to reset because of that. I didn't realize there was one up there. Yep, I have to reset. I didn't mean to press B again. But yeah, the fact that I never realized that he was the one involved in making this remix. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, after spouting like basically everything I've said in my like a little quote-unquote opinions, what is it, quote-unquote opinions video, I think I'm kind of burned out with commentary now, because like I said pretty much most everything I want to say other than like politics, but I'm not gonna discuss politics in this game. Heck no. I know there's like freedom of speech being relevant to this game, but no, like, no. This game does not need that kind of talk, and this channel does not need that kind of talk either. I don't know, like, even though this is something that does concern me, like, definitely, I just don't feel like very comfortable speaking to it on like a platform like YouTube. So I won't. Simple as that. Anyway, could you imagine a place like this? I mean, I'm pretty sure a place like this exists, since a lot of the levels are inspired by some form of Japanese incorporatedness or whatever. No, not incorporatedness. I mean like association. But what I'm trying to say here is like, these levels are obviously like based off of real life locations. Let's see, is there... Oh, that's all I have to get? Alright. Look at this. Look at this shortcut. Okay, it would have been better if I went through the whole thing instead of like right there, but like, tell me that wasn't way shorter than just grinding the whole way down. Like, that should be a no-brainer anyway, so I guess don't tell me. This music, you know what this music reminds me of? It reminds me of New City from 06. I know to some people that may not be a good thing, considering the reception that game has received. And while I do think the reception it received is justified, considering how it turned out, yeah, I don't really think there was, especially with how they intentionally rushed it too. Anyway, well, I think that game's reception is justified. I don't, however, think that people should be like over concerning themselves with the game, you know? Like, that game is gonna keep being relevant every time Sonic is mentioned, because people refuse to let people forget about that. People refuse to even let Sega forget about that. Like, they're all up in their about that. And that, don't even forget about Sonic Boom. Like, Sonic Boom had received the most unfortunate end of the stick, honestly, because like it like, the whole naming of Sonic Boom, like the whole brand got ruined just because of how the one game, like not even Shattered Crystal, just Rise of Lyric turned out. Like, Shattered Crystal had its problems too, but like, that wasn't what ultimately killed the whole well, quote unquote anyway, like quote unquote killed Sonic Boom on arrival. Like, I don't know, like, Shattered Crystal has its problems of forced completion. Like, I do complete games anyway, but like, come on, don't force people to do it just so they can get some type of replay value. Especially when the levels are super tedious to a point where they don't even want to play it again. And it's very clear that they have a problem with it, considering people still wanted to complete it, the games anyway. And while Rise of Lyric's completion reward thing was like completely non-existent, I think Shattered Crystals was worse because of the fact that, what were they thinking with that? Like, what in the actual frick were they actually thinking about that? Like, come on. I went through the effort of going through all the stuff that I was forced to because of the forced replayability and having to always go back, the least you could do is give me some give me something that'll make me feel satisfied for it. But yeah, what do you get when you do all that work for 100%ing it? A dance party. Yeah, like, no, I'm not kidding. This isn't a bad joke. I mean, it's a bad joke for the people who received it. Unfortunately, the punchline are the people who ended up buying the game, or even pre-ordered it thinking it was going to be good. Like, there was nothing saying it wasn't going to turn out alright. It's just that the way it turned out, you know, from the whole Broken Street date and everything. Rest in peace, Burton. It's just that, well, dang, like, once they actually saw what the game actually looked like, I think everyone was like trying to cancel their pre-orders as soon as possible. But like I said, this is one, like, even if the whole situation was unprecedented for and it couldn't have been predicted, this is exactly why I don't recommend pre-ordering games, period. Like, it don't matter who the reception of the person, like, not reception, the recognition. It doesn't matter how recognized the people are. They are bound to make mistakes too. Finally made that shortcut. But yeah, like, I'm just not a fan of pre-ordering games, especially if I don't know exactly what I'm pre-ordering. And it is always subject to change. Remember that. Alright, I think that's the last one right here. Wait, where is it? Oh, okay, here it is. A jet, alright. But yeah, I think I rambled on too much. And I'm only on Jet Graffiti on that? I thought it was a Jet Tech Bike now. Alright, but yeah. The whole Sonic Boom brand got immediately ruined on the fact that, that the one game did not turn out great. See, here's my thing about it too. If the whole thing was solely on the TV show, maybe, and maybe just Shattered Crystal, like, either way you look at it, it would have been like the game would have turned out mediocre at best, and the whole branding would still be would have been better than how it is now. But because of Rise of Lyric, like, I'm just saying right now, because of Rise of Lyric, it turned out, the reception it's receiving now is horrible beyond belief. But honestly, I understand there was like some development issues with Rise of Lyric and all that, but none of that can be excused if there was like some form of quality control with the game. Like, you can't expect something like that to turn out great on a completely different engine. Put it on a different engine and then expect no changes whatsoever. Like, something was bound to go wrong with that. But instead they released it anyway. They didn't charge the full $60, thankfully. Which if they did, they would have lost. That would have been shady, like super shady. But even for the price it was asking for back then, it was not worth it. I don't know, like, Sonic Boom, the Sonic Boom brand could have turned out so much better, and people already want it to be gone. A spin-off they just had, and they already want it to be gone just because of how the one game turned out. But again, I can't blame the people for wanting it to be gone, especially with how it turned out. But can you though, like, just think about it, real quick. I know I'm rambling on and on about it, but like, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm kind of hyped for Fire and Ice, that they make the exploration optional. I just hope they don't make it just as tedious either, because if they make it just as tedious as the first game, then there's really no reason for me to try completing the game anyway. Like, I'm glad they won't force it, and I'm glad they're making the levels like a bit shorter so it can be like faster and everything. But like, I don't know, just like, if the exploration factor is just so boring, even if it is optional, it's not gonna save the game any grace from me, because I am a completionist after all, and I do try going for like the most if not everything, or in this case, pretty much everything. So like having a boring experience with the exploration doesn't mean, and it being optional doesn't make it any less boring. I don't know, like I feel like people are gonna start saying the excuse that you don't have to explore and that you don't have to try 100% of the game, which you don't. Like, but that's a no-brainer, which is why I'm saying, like, of course I don't have to complete it. I want to complete it. That's the whole point of being a complete. That's the whole point of me seeing myself as a completionist. Like, I want to complete the game to its fullest. But if the like, this is actually the problem I have with Diddy Kong Racing DS as well. Like, if the 100%ing procedure itself is super boring to a point where I don't even want to complete the game normally, then there's something wrong with the game. Like, I'm just keeping it real. I kind of hate saying that too, but like, that's just how it is. Like, if completing a game 100% is so boring to a point where I don't even want to play the original game, like just the normal part of the game, it's boring. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's boring or bad. I don't really consider a boring game to be bad, especially if it doesn't like appeal to me, because like what appeals to me obviously will and or won't appeal to someone else the same way. But like when it's a bad game, it's like, you know, like I don't even want to normally complete it. Like Rise of Lyric, I went through the effort and the mistake of trying to 100% that game. It's hoping that there'd be something out of it, but nope, nothing. And I'm honestly super ticked that they made an upgrade where you have to buy Shattered Crystal just to get upgrades, and the upgrade is just for your rings. You don't even die in the game, so it's like next to pointless. I mean, you die in the game, like die a lot even, but like there's like no real way of getting around. Like there's no real punishment for death. You go exactly to where you are before it happens anyway. Like let me put a scenario. Let's say in what's that one level? The game is so forgettable. I honestly don't even remember the levels. Like there's one level where it's like there's like a lot of robots in the ship, and like if you fall off or something, because like you can end up falling off whenever you're doing an attack for some reason. Anyway, if you fall off, you'll just hit go, and say like the robot is one hit away. Not only will you respond to the exact point where you are from that point on, but the robot doesn't even get their all their hit points back. They are at the exact same point from where you left off before you fell off or died. And honestly, it defeats the purpose. In fact, that's why I was even mentioning that on that video where Kakudai Heights and combo. Like, there's a problem when the game is so easy to a point where if you die, there's no punishment off of it. Other than the fact that you're wasting time with it, but then that's what you can say about almost every game ever, so it's like, that's not a valid argument. I don't know, like, a long story short, and I don't want to make it like sound like I'm just rambling on and on about it, but like, long story short, if you want to have a game that you want to complete, make sure the game is actually decent enough for me to actually like complete it. My standards aren't like, and the thing is, compared to a lot of people out there, at least for 2016, my standards are not even that high for games anyway. So it's like, you don't need to do too much to have me impressed. Like, I'm easily impressed, I guess, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because a lot of people, I don't know why, but everyone looks down on people that are like easily impressed for some reason. Like, you're not, like, people think you just take anything. You're like, oh, we're not stupid, you know. It's just that we don't like have something super critical to a point where almost nothing makes us like happy, amused, or anything like that. And I feel like there's way too many people that act like that nowadays. Not even and it's not even like a personality kind of thing or whatever. Some people just act like that. Is it annoying? Well, to a point, yes. It gets annoying at some point. But like, isn't it enough for me to say, you know what, screw it, I'm not talking to you anymore? Again, yes, it can be like that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that like, having like an easy impression does not make you have seem like a person with poor standards. And if you do worry about that, I'm sorry if you do. Because just know that you're not alone if you are. It's just, I don't know, I feel like people worry way too much about other people for some reason. And myself included, from me listening to that rambling on again. I'm probably gonna be like that when I listen back to this. I'll be like, oh man, why did I even say this? Like, people are gonna get the wrong impression that I hate everything for some reason. And I am quite optimistic about everything. That's another thing, actually. Being optimistic, you're considered someone with low standards. I don't know, like, come on. I'm just seeing the best out of everything. It doesn't have to be like great. It doesn't have to be super grayscale or anything like that. You guys get what I'm trying to say here, right? Being easily impressed is not the worst thing, and that being optimistic does not mean your standards are always super low. There's even people that have like incredibly high stupid high standards, and it's like even they know how to like have a little bit of faith in something, you know. I think this is a Nitro. Oh, it's a Jet. Love shockers. Alright, so in the next part we'll go back to, what is it? The bottom point of the Switch facility. Then we take care of the big guns himself. The TUSF. So yeah, this is like Turn 64-7. Thank you guys for watching. And in this part we'll take care of the bottom of the Switch facility with, this should be obvious by now.
Sweet.
But yeah, like I said in the part I played with Q before. Poor Q.